Hi there, this is John Hyman from Commercial Real Estate Online and welcome to the program. This is the Commercial Real Estate Brokerage channel on YouTube where we share ideas relating to sales, leasing and property management around the world. The website for us is commercial-realestate-training.com and you can get plenty of tips, tools and ideas from that site. So today's program is all about lead generation and creating sellers lists. Your lists are the most valuable thing that you have in your real estate business. So it's time to grab a coffee, come back and listen to the program. So here's the video and I'll catch you at the other end. So lead generation and sellers lists. What is it all about? Why is it so important? In commercial real estate brokerage, there are plenty of things that you can do with a sellers list. That is, the people that could be selling their property. It is a good foundation of new business opportunities if you do it correctly. Now, it is a personal process. It's up to you to make sure that you've got your lists running and that you're managing them every day, because you are the only person that will get real value out of your lists. Commit to managing your lists. Commit to filling your lists with the right people in a direct and meaningful way. Now, develop the list for yourself and work it deeply for your real estate business. And how would you work it deeply? Well, through telephone calls, of course, through meetings, through connecting with people. Whenever there's a conversation there with someone who owns a property, they should go into your sellers list for future connections, future opportunity for you. So the connections that you make. The connections established with property owners as potential sellers in your territory can be logically researched and gathered over time. So you could say that you are researching things constantly each day. You're finding out who owns what, you're doing the research, you're putting it on your list. Now I know that finding out who owns a particular property takes time, I know that. But through conversations and connections with people, you will find out some of those things. Through gathering that information logically as you find it, through conversations, that will help your business grow and thrive over time. So talk to people, ask questions, understand what's going on in the street, the territory, the zone, the precinct. The list is then a generous source of leads and sales opportunities for your brokerage business over time. So it becomes the most valuable thing in your real estate business. And that's why I say, work it yourself. So what do you do with the list? Frequently ongoing contact with property owners as potential sellers is a wise strategy to build relationships and the appropriate levels of trust. Now, you do need people to trust you as the broker or the agent of choice. That's the fact. You want them to remember you at the right time. Again, the only way you can do that is through constant conversation, going back to the same people at a certain frequency, whether it's 30, 60 or 90 days, something like that, so they remember you and that you're sharing information with them regards property activity in their location. So have you got a sellers list now? How do you work it? It is your list. Get people into your list. Work it as a sellers list. You can have a separate list as a tenants list or a business owners list as well. So work your lists. List management. What's it about? Precincts and zones. Identify the zones in your territory that relate to and support the inquiries and growth of patterns in your area. So people like to be in certain zones, certain locations, certain precincts. So work the precincts that are popular, the precincts that are active, those that have a future. Get into those zones, talk to the business owners and find out who owns what. The streets, of course, you can prioritise the streets in your zones and your precincts, and that's a good idea. Use a printed street directory so you can highlight the streets that you've been in when you went into them, and then of course you'll know when you can go back into them. So get to know the streets and the buildings deeply, directly and comprehensively. Owners versus owner-occupiers. Know what the differences are for the owners of local property in each group. So some people own property simply for investment. That's fine. So you have an investment group, an owner's investment group. And then there are the owner-occupiers, and they are generally business owners. So work your business owners. You will find properties for sale in that group. Simply connect with lots of those business owners every day as part of calling down the telephone book, the yellow pages, the business telephone book. It's that easy. Buildings. So know the buildings, the better buildings in the location in your territory. Know the zones, know the buildings, know who's in those buildings. That requires logical research and ongoing checking to see who's changing, who's moving, where people are going. So conversations into zones will help you find buildings for sale and also buildings for future sale. So there are opportunities in all of this. Understand the differences between land, the classes of building, the zones and the precincts. And just comprehensively and logically work those zones, because that's how you find things out. That's how you find out who owns what and what the business owners are thinking and doing. And of course you want a business owner who's changing location for any reason whatsoever, because that is leverage for you to get some action going in that zone. So list communication number 1. This is connecting with people on your list for a particular reason. They are the property owners needing local comparisons. All property owners and business owners are concerned about their property investment and how it compares to others in the region. So you can provide simple information. It's easy to do. Put it on a PDF, email it, or drop it off as you're canvassing the streets. Use the regular sales reports from the zone as discussion points and interesting topics to compare to in any listing presentation. Communication number 2, what can you do here? You can create updates on prices and rents. You can create those simple graphs of rent and price changes in a region across property types and zones of activity, because you should have the sale reports for the region, be they a bit historic, maybe 2 or 3 months old, but you can use those things to give graphs of prices and rents in a location. Very valuable. The visual approach works when it comes to winning the attention of a client. So as I said, the visual approach has great advantages in business presentations relating to a property. So number 3. So updates on time on market. You can explain the differences that apply to open listings versus exclusive listings. Of course, open listings will stay on the market for a very long time because no real agent is working them deeply. So show a client the trends and the advantages of the exclusive listing process in your region, and use plenty of photographs as part of sharing property listing trends and marketing processes. Number 4. Factors of supply and demand. Some properties and locations will have greater levels of inquiry, and you'll know where those properties or locations are. So you can chart that trend if you track your inquiries coming into you each week. The graphing process gives credibility to your observations, your presentations, your communications. Number 5. Off-market transactions. There will always be deals that happen off the market. A close connection with local property sellers will help you find those off-market purchase and sell situations before your competitors get involved. And that's what you want. You want to get in there, find that transaction, negotiate it, find the buyer before any other people in the market find out about it. So, take all of these points and shape the ideas into a seller's list, a service list and canvassing approach into your real estate business. Connect with people regards the facts of the market, what's happening with sale prices, property changes, movements, that sort of thing. There are many things that you can optimize in the process, and conversations through growing and shaping a seller's list will help you find your listings. That's the way it works. Conversations create the business. If you haven't got enough listings now, then you're simply not talking to enough people. How do you fix that? You start using the telephone. You lift the telephone into the lists of people that you have now, which will be your database, but you'll also then go into the business telephone book, the yellow pages, and you will find people who are interested in selling, buying or relocating. That's what you do with a seller's list. So this is John Hyman. The website for us is commercial-realestate-training.com. Thanks for listening to the program.